All right. It was a great few days of NFL draft picks going into the books. Now it's time for us to talk about who worked it, who didn't work it, or maybe it needs some more work, TD.
Okay.
So let's start with the teams that you feel did well with filling needs for their teams.
I think the first team that jumps off to me has to be the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Okay.
And the reason I say that is the number one pick overall, Jameis Winston. And now we'll look back on this pick later on in life, maybe 3 years from now, to see whether this guy is truly a franchise quarterback. But LaVar, you understand, if you have one pick in the draft or you have 13 picks in the draft, if you can find that one quarterback, right, that's your franchise quarterback, it makes up for all the other 13 picks. And I think Tampa Bay nailed it with that. They also went with the offensive line, which they needed help with that as well. So Tampa Bay nailed it. They don't need any more work.
All right, your second team.
My second team, I'm going with that. It's got to be the St. Louis Rams.
All right.
Once again, we talk about this guy right here, Todd Gurley.
No bias in there.
There's no bias. He's a Georgia Bulldog. He is a running back, but we have not seen a talent like this in quite some time. The Rams in that division where you have to run the football, play great defense. I think Les Snead and Jeff Fisher hit it right on the nail. They got the best running back, not only in the draft, but the best running back in the last probably 10 years. And this guy, I think he'll be healthy. He'll give them a great shot in the NFC West.
I like it, TD. Okay, I'm going to take it from you right now, and I'm going to go into my two teams that I feel put in work. I'm going to start with the New York Jets. I think it's a hands-down home run, what they were able to do, bringing in Big Cat, Leonard Williams. He's a game changer.
Yeah.
They already have a game-changing defensive front. Now you add him, you have some more depth. Adding Devin Smith at that wide receiver's position to an already improved, what would appear to be an improved wide receivers group with adding Brandon Marshall and already having Aaron Deckard and Jeremy Curley.
Oh, yeah.
I like that. And then you look at the rest of the draft, that's a beautiful thing. You get Bryce Petty.
You think he's the best quarterback
I think he's the best quarterback in the draft. I think he'll prove out to be the best quarterback in the draft.
All said and done.
We'll have a discussion on that a little bit later, but I think he brings a unique skill set to the table, and it will push Geno Smith, if not out of the position. We'll have to see. Well, we'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right. Now, we're coming out of Bryce Petty highlights, but then we're going to switch teams. All right, now I'm talking about this guy right here, Big Beasley, and what the Atlanta Falcons, he must have known he was going to be a Falcon because he came in Atlanta Falcon gear.
He was already
and I tell you what, when he puts that uniform on, I'm for certain that he'll be an impact player for this team. They're able to get Jalen Collins, who slipped a little bit. I really thought he would have gone earlier than 42nd pick, but nonetheless, to get picked up with Big Beasley in that group of guys is an amazing looking thing. Then look, they get a running back with Tevin Coleman. They get Justin Hardy at receiver, Grady Jarrett at nose tackle position. They addressed a lot of needs and concerns that they had with their picks. They made the most of their draft. So that's the people who put in work.
They put in some work.
All right, now who needs to put in a little bit more work, even though they did what they did in the draft?
Yeah, this might sound crazy, but I got to go with the Green Bay Packers on this one. The Cleveland Browns on this one. And I know their first pick, Danny Shelton. I think, obviously, he is a great player. He came to play, drafted him up there. He was that centerpiece that you need on your defensive front. But when you think about after that and some of the picks they've had, this is a team that was in desperate need of a wide receiver. And they grabbed their first wide receiver in the 4th round, Vince Mailey. And he was a guy to me, they're showing the Green Bay Packers. Some Packers here. But let's talk about the Packers as you see what they're doing right there. Their picks, you look at Demarius Randall. Demarius Randall was drafted as a safety in the 1st round. Now, he was projected as a 2nd-round talent. Now, you also have guys out there like Morgan, Burnett Morgan. And you also have Clinton Ha Dix. Next, you got safeties already, but he's the guy that was drafted high in the 1st round, but really is projected as a cornerback. But he's got raw skills that needs to be worked on. You got Ty Montgomery, the wide receiver right there. He is not a true wide receiver. He's more of a special teams guy. So that's my Green Bay Packers who needs to work. Let's go back to the Cleveland Browns, the team that I really want to talk about.
All right.
Danny Shelton was their 1st-round draft pick. I like that one again, LaVar. I like what they're doing, building that defensive front there.
They already have some big guys.
You got Phil Taylor up there who was there. I'm not sure if they're going to extend his contract or not. They may have been working on that. But I think when you talk about the Cleveland Browns and what this team is about, you talk about the wide receiver position. Josh Gordon is not there anymore. They got they got Bo from Kansas City. They got Hawkins, but they don't have that star wide receiver. And this draft was rich with wide receivers, and they didn't really go out and get one. The first one they got was Vince Mailey in the 4th round. To me, they sort of missed the whole boat on that. Okay. I think most importantly, though, they had a chance to go up there and grab a quarterback, in particular Marcus Mariota. They did not do that in terms of giving those 2 first-round draft picks to make me happy. I wanted to see that trade to get Marcus Mariota, and they didn't do that.
All right, my 2 teams is Tennessee and Tampa. And I know you picked Tampa as a team that put in work.
Yeah.
But I'll start with Tennessee first. Now, listen, they get Mariota. I get that this is a number 2 pick, a guy that a lot of people felt was a high draft pick. But I just think I listened to all of the reports, all of the trade discussions and different things like that, and I don't know if it was more smoke blowing, posturing. I'm not sure if this is the guy that they really wanted to draft more so than it being pressure to draft him. We'll soon find out. Green Beckham, we'll have to wait and see. A lot of questions surrounding him, and none of them, they never did anything on defense. The same as I transition into the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They did a lot. Both teams did a lot in addressing their defenses in free agency, but did not take one defender in the draft. And so when I look at what the Bucs were able to do, sure, they got Jameis Winston with the first pick. Sure, they have two amazing receivers. Their offense is in position to do well. But then when I look at what they did in free agency, I'm not so sure with the additions that they made with Conti and other guys that they brought in for the defense are enough of an upgrade to take a defense that ranked very, very poorly coming out of last season. So we'll have to wait and see if their strategy of going heavy defense, all defense in free agency versus getting all offense in the draft will pay off for them, TD. But
we'll see.
I think looking at it right now, they could have put in a little bit more work.